Good evening, Mrs. Josephine Teo, Minister of Manpower and Second Minister of Home Affairs. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to extend a big thank you to herworld and the herworld of the Year Judging Committee for allowing me the honor and privilege of receiving this prestigious award. When you have a phone call from Jenny late at night, you have a missed call, you better return her call quickly. And she's someone that you will not say no to. And it's really a great privilege for me to have the chance to actually work with Jenny and some of the colleagues. It's really inspiring, and because they have depth of knowledge. We may have some instinct, but it's very different. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah. And probably I will have a tea with you also, Jenny, because until today, I still don't know who nominated me. So it really came as a surprise because it's really an unexpected. I would like to start by celebrating two very important women in my life. The first is my mother. She only had primary school education, but because of some circumstances, she has to work. And I'm so proud of her because she was so determined and she saw possibilities. She was passionate about education, and she actually became a kindergarten book distributor for the whole of north of Malaysia, because that's where I came from. Imagine that she actually has very low education. The next is actually my late mother-in-law. We lost her beginning of this year at the age of 98. She taught us what it meant to love unconditionally by loving us all unconditionally. She was an amazing grandmother to my 4 children and always offered her help because she knows it's very challenging. And she's also my #1 fan because whenever I appeared on paper, she was actually the one to cut and keep and show it to the rest of my in-law. And she would accompany my kids to all the extra classes, even when they were old enough. Imagine that was like 4 or 5 years old ago. And she was in her 94 and 95 years old. She will accompany them. And because I told her, I said, Mom, they were old enough, but she told me most of the kids have parents with them, and I don't want them to have anything that miss out. So she actually volunteered. So I always cherish the relationship with my mother-in-law, and I think many people has actually missed that, the importance of having family support. And these two women actually gave me the space to have a career. A little bit about myself. You know, I never dreamed of standing here tonight. It's really an honor and a privilege. I started working very early at the age of 18 because I needed to find a job. Actually, I was actually doing hotel and catering management. Halfway through a semester, school holidays, so I was actually looking for a part-time job. So I went to Penang, walked into Penang Main Court, and so I says I'm looking for a receptionist job, and they told me, oh, they only have the vacancy for sales executive. I said, oh, not bad, okay. And they told me sales executive is actually paid more. I says, oh, I can do the job. So I actually went for an interview. So when I was in the interview, the GM asked me, do you have transport? I have. Do you have any problem? No problem. Everything I can do. Yes. So I gotten the job. The true challenge came because I have no transport. So I ended up have to lend a motorbike from my friend. I think Jenny is in the hospitality industry. She will know most of the sales executives in hotels, all of them have cars. It's a high flyer job, and that's me that riding in the motorcycle. And sometimes when rain and I got wet, drenched, go back, change, and start all over again. But it was never a difficult moment that I never felt that, that why I have to do this. But that actually gave me a lot of determination. It's only a 100 rooms hotel. I have $500 as my basic pay, and I have a little bit commission, that's about $700. I need to rent a room for $80, and most time if it's rain, my mattress get wet. So, if I don't come back quickly enough. So I actually gone through that, but I was lucky. 6 months later, I was offered another job at Penang Mutiara. I think because they have heard that how hardworking I was. So I got a job in Penang Mutiara. which is a 5-star hotel. I think the late Lee has actually visited that hotel. It's a very nice property. What happened was 2 months into the job, I was banned from Shangri-La Hotel because when I attended one of their events, I actually, over the weekend, 12 of their long stay guests from Motorola was moved to Penang Mutiara. So they actually stopped me from going to Shangri-La. And it was an interesting moment. But 6 months down the job, I was actually headhunted. I was headhunted by Pfizer. It's, I just finished O-level, halfway through into hotel and catering management. Usually Pfizer will hire pharmacies, biologists and all this, but they actually took me in. So I went through the first interview because they wanted to have something different because I guess doctors are quite boring people. I'm not sure if we have doctors here. So they wanted to have people that with marketing experience. So I went for the interview. So at the interview, they asked me, because Pfizer at that time, they were launching this drug called Novas. Some of you may know it's a cardiovascular drugs. And I was also handling antibiotics. So when I was called for interview, so they asked me, do I know how many chambers in the heart? And I opened my eyes big and look at them. I say, if you ask me how many hotels in Rasa Sayang, a room in the Rasa Sayang, I can tell you, but I don't know how many chambers in the heart. So they actually took me in, so because they think I'm honest. So they took me in. So they gave me 2 months training, and no joke, it's really training, because I have to start from drawing anatomies, because I need to understand pharmacokinetics, how the drugs works, in order to communicate with the doctors. I really put in a lot of effort, because especially, I think some of the doctors will understand, because different antibiotics will cater for different parts of the body, because we have different kind of bacteria that is cater for that. So after, they even put me through role play and all that, so I got through, so I got passed after 2 years. So I remember the first day I went to work, I was reporting, I was supposed to cover Penang market. So I went to KL office to report work. And the divisional head looked at me and says, Penang has always been a very challenging market. Maybe you can give it a try for 2 months if it works. And to me, it's like, what an inspiring day, right? Even the very first day, that actually gave me a very strong determination to work even harder and to, that strive to make it better. So the very next year, I actually came in top Malaysia and Singapore for sales. And one of the things that I realized is that, Penang is a small market, and it has always been dominated by generic drugs. And I discovered, because we have got Penang horse racing every weekend, so I actually went to the vet, because in one of the literature, the horses need 7 doses more than a human being. And I'm sure all these horse owners are willing to pay anything, for all these original drugs. So I actually got that through, and so I became top, and then subsequently, a couple of months, 1 or 2 years into the job, I was very happy, ready for my promotion. Again, I was headhunted. This time, I was headhunted by my husband. And I think, we always joke, that was the best contribution that he has done for Singapore. To bring me, So he was setting a business in Penang, and then we decided that we want to move back to Singapore. So we started a new company, manufacturing of wooden pallets, and I was helping him with the business into 5 or 6 years. And I started to realize, there's a lot of packaging waste, and why people are not paying attention. And the worst part is that when people look at you, they don't look at you as professional. Because everyone would put all the resources into designing their products, but never have they paid attention in packaging. And you are the least important person in the supply chain. And when it comes to you, they have no more budget because they have used up. So in that case, so I actually saw the opportunity because there's so much waste and all that. And also thinking that, 2 of us together, probably there's a risk. I say, why don't we split the basket? Maybe give me a try. I do something different. So I decided to start focus on sustainable packaging. with packing it right instead of over packaging. So, you know, so with this in mind, and then I have his blessing. But of course, at that time, we have quite a number of customers like Western Digital, Seagate, and all that, which I brought in. I cannot touch them because they belong to his company. So I have to start all over again, you know, by myself. But that actually gave me a lot of good learning. So, you know, so when you start your own business, you're very excited. The first thing what you need to do, you need a space. So I went to JTC, and I went to the reception. I said, I'm looking for a flatted factory to rent to start my business. So she asked me, what business are you in? I said, oh, I'm doing packaging. She looked at me, I think this is a sunset business. No chance. You know, you may better go and try, you know, all the private properties. So to me, there's actually no sunset business. There's only sunset mindset. You know, how do you actually position yourself? So subsequently, of course, there's a lot of challenges and all that. And I always like to tell some young people, perhaps they're in the room, they always think that to be your own boss is that you're able to manage your own time, that you can do what you like. But it's so wrong. You know, for the last 10, 15 years, my average sleeping time is only 6 hours. And my husband always scold me. Before he goes to sleep, I'm awake. When he's awake, I'm already awake, you know. So it's been very tough, but it's rewarding. And I'm not going to take another 30 minutes of our time to go on and on, but it's really what it actually taught me is that there's 3 things. One, in life, we really have to always learn, unlearn, because some of the things that you have learned is no longer relevant, and you have to relearn again, right? It's a constant journey. Number 2, some people say, oh, that's luck. I don't believe it's luck. It's about you to be able to seize the opportunity. When you're able to seize the opportunity, you work for it, right? Third, and people tell you, work smart. Yes, we work smart. But after work smart, what do? You need to work hard, right? So it's about working hard. There's no shortcut in life. And so you really have to work smart and work hard. So I think I just want to thank my family who's been here with me tonight, my 4 children. Thank you for being good children. They're here. Sometimes I forget to tell you how much I appreciate and love you all, being such an important part of my life, and I love you. And I just want to end with one last quote from Thomas Edison. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Thank you.